Since May, abortion has been illegal in Florida beyond 6 weeks of pregnancy, which of course is before many women would know that they were pregnant. No doubt that is an issue that will count in this upcoming US election, but how will white women vote? They are the single largest voting bloc in the United States. Jackie Payne is founder and executive director of Galvanize Action. Welcome to the program, Jackie. What is Galvanize Action? What role do you play?
Hi, thanks for having me. I am the executive director. I founded Galvanize Action to focus on moderate white women and support them to use their civic power to vote for the issues that they care most about, which include reproductive freedom, the economy, and preserving our democracy, and helping us to make sure we do protect this democracy.
How do you differentiate white women? They're not a homogenous bloc. You talk there about white moderate women in the battleground states. Who are they?
Yeah, let me start by saying that, as you mentioned, white women overall are the largest vote share. Across the country, white women are 38% of the vote. And in battleground states, those states that are going to decide this election, white women are 42, 43, 44% of the vote. So it's an incredibly important electorate. What we focus on are the moderate white women, those who identify as having a moderate ideology and who are not firmly entrenched with either party, who are still making up their mind.
Right, and are there any polling anomalies that you see in those battleground states where perhaps it's tighter than it should be because of the white women who have said they're going to vote one way or the other? So, for instance, we were looking at Iowa the other day, and suddenly it's very, very tight within 4 points. That is not a state that you would expect the Democrats to be competitive in.
Exactly. I mean, at this moment in the US election, it is neck and neck. And part of the reason for that is the gender gap that we're seeing. There's been a real explosion in the gender gap, specifically between white women and white men, since Kamala Harris's convention. Since the convention, that gap is now 19 percentage points, and what we see is moderate white women moving to the left to support Kamala Harris. It's now it is now neck and neck for white women between Harris and Trump, and then we see white men moving even farther right in support of Trump. So that expanding gender gap is going to be highly consequential in this election. Particularly, what folks are looking at is white women are the highest turnout of any demographic segment in the U.S. And so the highest likely to turn out, the highest propensity voters. And so in these battleground states, they take up a disproportionate share of the vote. So how they vote is going to matter a lot. And what they're really looking for now is to try to figure out between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, who cares about them, who understands what their family is going through, and who will deliver to help their family thrive.
Okay. So as you talk about the gap, that gender gap, I just want to focus briefly on white men, because it does appertain to what we're talking about with white women. Here's Tim Walz, who was brought onto the ticket with Kamala Harris for a purpose. He's a former football coach, a veteran. Have a listen to how he talks to white men.
This guy was undecided, so was this guy, and they're both coming out for you.
I think I'm decided now.
It matters. So I took him to the debate watch party, and that just flipped like that.
Yeah,
I mean, they were apathetic, and that's, you know.
It's not about agreeing on every single issue. It's about that core belief. And I said, this whole idea that you can't agree that the election was fair, this whole idea that people should have personal freedoms, which is kind of like the politics are turning over. Yeah, nice meeting you all. Yeah, really grateful you take the time again. Yeah, thanks. Go get them. Talk to your friends. Some of them are just going to say, look, I'm not that into politics. Yeah. The answer to that is too damn bad. Politics is into you. So get engaged, go vote. Hey, thank you so much.
What do you make of that, Jackie, and the way that Donald Trump has approached the issue and how that affects actually how women are thinking and how women interact with Donald Trump?
Well, what we've seen since Harris entered the race, there has been a shift. And so the Harris-Walz ticket is connecting with moderate white women. They were, even before Harris entered the race, moderate white women were saying, I don't like my choices, I want to change. We asked them who they'd rather have, if they'd rather have Biden or someone else. And in July, they told us they would rather see Kamala Harris at the top of the ticket.
But is that because they see messaging to white men on the right that they don't much like?
I think it's because they were, like many voters, they were feeling unhappy with what their choices were between Biden and Trump. They just felt like it was more of the same. They want to change. They want to believe that something is going to be different in their lives and that a candidate is going to deliver for them and their families. And they were not enthusiastic before Kamala Harris got in the race. There has been a shift in enthusiasm and registration, and we've seen the race narrow now between Kamala Harris and Trump. It really is neck and neck at the moment overall.
Jackie, we'll have to leave it there because we're right up against the break, but it's certainly one of the groups to watch very closely. White women key in some of these battleground states. Jackie Payne there, founder and executive of Galvanize Action. We're going to take a short break. The panel will be next. Do stay with us.